good, everyone? Thank you for tuning in. It's Mikey T the Movie star. I'm back with another exclusive. Everybody has known about Young Buck's situation. He got locked up. He got hit with a $60,000 bond. He's out of jail now. He's back, and he is dissing 50 like never before. You know, when 50 and Buck started beefing, Young Buck came on the internet and said, 50, you are a confidential informant. Did you forget who you are messing with? Did you forget who you are dealing with? Young Buck implied that he had some other information on 50 that hasn't yet been released to the general public. Information that I think was going to be pretty damning to the character of 50 Cent. Now, everybody out there that's watching knows that Young Buck had a really long relationship with 50 Cent. These two were together overseas. They were together throughout the whole United States. It was quite a run that they had. 50 literally picked Buck up from, desperation. He picked Buck up from having nothing, from when Buck was running between Cash Money and UTP. Even I found out he was running with 3-6 Mafia a little bit. 50 picked him up from nothing, from not having a dime in his bank account, maybe a dime over $10,000. And he picked him up and put him in G-Unit and made him a multi-millionaire. He took Young Buck and he made him one of the most marketable artists that the South had ever seen. Young Buck could have reached heights that T.I. and Ludacris were at. He could have really been up there with the Jeezys and the Rick Rosses of the South. But Young Buck now is at the point where he's going on lives and he's only getting 100 followers. He literally just got out of jail. He jumped on a live and he made some seriously shocking accusations against 50 Cent. Seriously shocking accusation against 50 Cent. And that's what we're going to be looking at today, you guys. It's your boy Mikey T the Movie star. I'm always here staying in tune with the people. If you guys want to follow me on the gram, it's Mikey T _ the movie star. Everybody who follows me based on this video is going to get the immediate follow back. I had to hit you guys with this news first because I was up last night and I seen Buck like on the live and he was talking, and at first he was keeping it kind of peaceful. You know what I mean? He was keeping it kind of peaceful. He was just dissing some of his Instagram followers, you know what I mean, that were trying to ride him about all the dissing that 50 has been doing, you know what I mean, posting all type of images of Buck with his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or whatever type of girlfriend he had on his Instagram page, basically exposing his situation to the general public. But then when I tuned back in about a half an hour later, Young Buck had started going into this story that was pretty delicate. It's gonna have to be handled pretty delicate when it comes to 50 Cent. Because he made some startling accusations about 50 and himself on tour in a hotel room where 50 apparently was doing some very questionable things. And Buck is now asking 50, what is up with your feminine tendencies, Curtis? What is up with those feminine tendencies that you have? Why is it that you seem to be a little bit less than a man than the rest of us? There's a lot of stories out there. A lot of people have said that 50 would always get oiled down before the shows, and it seemed like he enjoyed that a little bit too much. A lot of people have come out and said that. We all know how much oil 50 would get put on him before the shows. It was one of the things that he used, one of the tools that he saw used by other rappers that he implicated into his own act. You know what I mean? 50 always did this, from the smoking to the muscles to the oil to the tattoos. You know what I mean? He implicated all these different type of styles that made him what he was. You know what I mean? The complete package. So Young Buck came online and he made some accusations against 50 that I don't think anybody online is really going to believe. You know what I mean? The majority of people aren't going to believe. Young Buck actually says that one day on tour, so let's get into it, guys. Young Buck actually said that one night on tour, 50 had a baddie in his room. 50 had a bad chick in his room, and 50 called Buck. 50 called Buck and was like, yo, Buck, I need you to come up to my room. I need you to come up to this room. I got this shorty that you got to meet. So Buck goes to the room, hooks up with the shorty. All the while, 50 Cent is apparently watching in the dark on some weirdo type, watching in the dark, you know what I mean, on some weirdo type joint, you know what I mean, 50 in the dark, in the corner, watching Young Buck as he's doing his thing, you know what I mean, and Buck wants answers. Buck wants answers now. He's calling 50 out for these gross accusations. He's trying to say that 50 wanted to watch him while he was in the middle of an act with a woman. And, it's kind of throwing me off, you know what I mean? And Buck says that 50 is most likely going to respond to these accusations. Buck is totally ready for 50 to respond with accusations of him being interested in other men. Probably going to post something in regard to that on his Instagram today. We'll have to wait and see. But definitely startling accusations thrown at 50 Cent from Young Buck. Buck is an original G-Unit member. You know what I mean? Like, by original, I mean the first ever G-Unit album that came out heavily featured Young Buck. A lot of people say that Buck was that final piece that really made G-Unit a cemented faction. From him coming in and solidifying it with the South. To see these two going back and forth now, it's really bad for hip-hop, you guys. It is really bad for hip-hop just because of what I had said in the past or earlier in the video, that 50 could have turned Buck into one of the most solidified artists that the South had ever seen. Buck could have been one of the major candidates for the King of the South, you guys. And it's just very shocking to see all this information come out. Young Buck doesn't seem like he's going to let up on 50 anytime soon. It actually kind of seems like he wants a response from 50 to me. You know what I mean? He's fresh out of jail. He just got out of jail, and he wants people to start looking at him again. He wants people to start giving him attention again. So I think that's why he's actually going at 50. I think that's what it is here, you guys. But Buck has a great voice, you know what I mean? He was playing some music the other night on his live, and it definitely sounded good. But Buck's whole problem has been able to release the music. That's what Buck's major problem has been, actually solidifying a release date. He hasn't been able to get an album released since Buck the World in 2007, and here we are in 2020, you guys. And all he has released since then in, 13 years? Is mixtape releases. You know what I mean? We saw a couple joints that were supposed to be released as official albums that it didn't really work out like that. We actually heard Buck talking about the fact that 50 and Dr. Dre were actually going to be working on his album together. That's another fact that we didn't really get to see either. After that whole incident that happened at the Vibe Awards where Young Buck got Dr. Dre's back, we expected Dr. Dre to come and assist Buck. You know what I mean? We expected him to assist Buck majorly. And aside from an Eminem production on Buck the World, there wasn't too much Dr. Dre influence. We didn't get that. We didn't get what we wanted. We really didn't get what we wanted out of the whole relationship with 50 Cent and Young Buck. And I got a feeling that Young Buck feels the same way. But 50 probably feels the same way as well, you guys. You know what I mean? So this is Mikey T the Movie Star. Before we get out of here, I want everybody to tap in with Ooey Magazine. That's right, you guys. Ooey Magazine is the new brand, and this is for upcoming artists, but it's also a magazine that's available in all the prisons. It's the #1 men's prison magazine. So right now, guys, the first 20 people watching this video, the first 20 people that DM Ooey Magazine, you will get a free copy of this print magazine. That's right. We're going to send out 20 free copies of this magazine to the first 20 people that DM us. And if you have somebody incarcerated that you want to get a copy of this too, you know what I mean? We can do that as well. The magazine is actually promoted by Non-Stop Connections. It's NonStopConnections.com, y'all. It's the perfect place to meet not so perfect people with good hearts. Non-Stop Connections is a pen pal correspondence service that helps incarcerated men find positive people and new friends to communicate with while serving their debt to society. They are also actively involved in helping inmates find employment, positive programming, and housing when available in their area upon their release. Non-Stop Connections has decided to come up with this magazine, Ooey Magazine. It's available in all the jails, so pick up a subscription if you have anybody that's locked up right now, friend or family. Also, if you're an independent artist that's on the rise, tap in with Ooey Magazine. Even if you're an artist that's just been incarcerated and recently released, this magazine will be good for you. Salute everyone. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Catch me on the next episode. That's right, catch me on the next episode. We got another joint coming for you today. Anybody that wants to follow me based on this video, it's Mikey T _the movie star. Whoever follows me, I'm going to follow you guys back immediately. If you want to come on the channel to do an exclusive interview, or if you want to come on the channel to premiere a music video, that's cool as well. This is the channel for the people, you guys. I'm staying in tune. Let's lock in. Follow me on the gram.